Hello, welcome to Miss Peepers Reading Corner. I'm Katrina, aka Miss Peepers. Let's talk about trafficking. Today we're discussing Sold by Patricia McCormick. This was number 8 on the list of the top 10 most banned books last year. It was actually tied with Crank by Ellen Hopkins, which I'm discussing in another video. This is the first-person narrative of a 13-year-old Nepalese girl called Lakshmi. Her family is incredibly poor. Her stepfather gambles away what little money they can make, and despite that, she still manages to be an ordinary child. She finds happiness where she can. She's getting an education. She has a pet goat. She and her mother are very close. But one day, her stepfather introduces her to a woman and says that this woman is going to take her to the city to work as a maid. The woman takes Lakshmi instead to a city in India, which I believe is meant to be Calcutta, but I could be wrong about that. It's not specifically stated. But regardless, she's taken to the city and sold again to a brothel where she is forced into sex work. Why was this book banned? I don't think it will be too much of a surprise that censors object to the depictions of sex and rape in this book. What's interesting about the way that it's written is that it is for a first-person narrative from Lakshmi's perspective. And so Lakshmi does not fully understand everything that happens to her. You see her harden throughout the book as she gains more of this life experience that no one, let alone a child, should have to learn. Especially at the beginning, she does not know what's going on. It is incredibly confusing to her, and we as the reader have to piece together what is happening. For example, there's not a lot of technology in her village in Nepal, so when she gets to India, she sees a magic box, which is a television. And those kinds of things are kind of charming, kind of sweet, but then of course, in similar ways, she talks about the men that she is forced to have sex with, that she doesn't really, especially at the beginning, understand what is happening and why it's happening. And what I would say to the censors who object to the way that, to the rape that is described in this book, the multiple rapes, I should say, because it does not happen only once. The way that it's described is visceral and brutal, but not what I would call sexually explicit. She focuses on the pain that she feels as a result of what is being done to her, which in many ways makes the scene that much more challenging to read emotionally. But also, perhaps those censors could spend their time objecting to the very real situations that inspired this book. Patricia McCormick spent time in India and Nepal. She spoke with sex workers. She spoke with relief workers, aid workers. She visited the villages like where Lakshmi might have come from. She really spent a lot of time understanding the world that she was going to write about, so that she could bring this information to a Western audience who may not be fully aware or may think of it as kind of, well, that's happening on the other side of the world. How does it affect me? And directly it doesn't. But if you think about the way that this society views women and children in particular, it is quite horrifying to think that this is happening anywhere. I shouldn't have to tell anyone this, but it keeps happening. So until it doesn't, there's always someone else out there who needs to hear this message. So why should you read this? Of course, check the content warnings, because it is, as I said, not an emotionally easy book to read. And I'm sure my description of that indicates this, but the writing just draws you into the story. And the simple way in which Lakshmi narrates, because she is a child, it's just so beautifully done. And she still finds these moments of care, especially with the other women in the brothel, not the person who's running it, who is really quite horrible, but some of the other women who also are forced to be there, either because they were brought there as children themselves or because of life circumstances that have led them to believe that this is the only way that they can survive. And some of those women have children of their own that also live there. And I don't want to spoil this story, but there are glimmers of hope in here as well. And Patricia McCormick has written other books, which I'm interested to read now because of her style is so interesting, and I'm curious to see how she tells other stories. It's very important work that she does to translate real events into a fictional package that I think can be more accessible to people who are so far removed from it. So let me know, have you read Sold by Patricia McCormick? What did you think of it? And either way, whatever you do, please keep reading. Reading helps you understand what is happening in other parts of the world, what is happening in even parts of the world close to you, and it increases your empathy. So reading is always a good thing to do, no matter what you're reading. And either way, I'll see you in the next one.